Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to another session of GEG Iowa. This is January's session. GEG Iowa is a online virtual community for Iowa educators to connect about technology integration in schools. The website is on the bottom of our screen. It's bit.ly/GEG-Iowa. The GEG and I are all capitalized. So if you navigate to our website, it's pretty simple. We've got a home screen which gives you basic information about our group. So on our website, we've got a Homes tab, Events tab, and then Learn More. They're all pretty self-explanatory. If you want to follow along with today's agenda, you will want to find that under Events. It will always say when the next meeting is, and then there is a section that says Preview the resources in our agenda. So you can go ahead and click the agenda. And then this agenda is pretty simple. It's got all of this year's agenda. It also has all of the previous 2 years' agenda, and everything is clickable. There's a clickable table of contents at the top. There's information about the group and how you can become active first, and then there are the monthly agendas. So let's take a look at the Learn More section. So a little bit about me. Thank you guys for joining us. I am the EdTech specialist or instructional designer for the Iowa Educational Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired. I have been working there a little over 3.5 years. Actually, it'll almost be 4 years in next week. And I have now 11 years of teaching experience. I previously taught literature and technology to 5th through 8th grade students. And so that is a little bit about me. I started GEG Iowa a little over 2.5 years ago, and still trying to get the word out there a little bit and all that jazz. So generally how this works is I will pick a topic every month, and usually I will just focus on one topic and then 3 tools that you should check out. But right now we are on a series talking about Google Sheets because I absolutely love Google Sheets. So our last session, if you look at our agenda back in December, I talked about my favorite keyboard shortcuts that are musts when you are in Google Sheets and are very much not widely known or used. So I would highly recommend those. Also, if you are new to the group, we have every single meeting was recorded, so it is in the playlist, so you can look back at my meeting about that. But today, we're going to go a little deeper, and we're going to talk about my top 10 hidden gems in Google Sheets. So these are widely overlooked features that are pretty simple and easy to do, and that I would highly recommend everyone using. It should make any spreadsheet 10 times better. So we are going to talk about 10 of them. They're really quick. Most of them are really simple, real easy. So let's talk about this first one, which is sheets.new. In a new URL tab, all you got to do for this tip is type in sheets.new, and what sheets.new does is create a brand new spreadsheet. Real helpful. You can do whatever you want with it. You don't need to worry about, say you create one and then you realize later you don't want it. You don't need to worry about deleting it unless you actually have done something in there. And it, once you actually edit it, you won't be able to delete it. But until you have made an edit, it's not actually saved to your account. So that is the first tip. Real simple, easy. Most of these are about as simple as that. So so let's take a look at our second one. Sorry, it's weird to be on this side. Okay, so we're gonna just rename this because I am gonna keep it demo spreadsheet. We'll just call it GEG Iowa, January 26. Okay, so our next tip, let's take a look at the select all button. Okay, so select all button is a game changer. If you are not using it, of all things, I would say this one is probably the biggest that I would recommend everyone using. It's pretty simple. When you have lots of data in a spreadsheet, it is really like unnecessary for you to like click the first cell and drag as far as you can. There is a literal button that will automatically grab everything for you, and it is located between the rows and columns. So it is this guy right here. This is where it would be really wonderful if my zoom feature would work, but it's not. Okay, we will deal with it later. Just out of curiosity, I'm gonna check once more. Yeah, it's like it says display capture. I'm curious whether I can try this and it's gonna break things. Okay, it does not look like it broke things. Okay, so essentially all I did is right here in between, I don't know if I love this since it's maybe zooming in too much, but yeah, right in between this A, like the A column label and the 1 column right here, there is this little guy in this corner. That's what I'm talking about. So once you have lots of data, all you got to do to select it is click this button, and that works with all spreadsheets. It is a game changer. And it probably would make sense to have some data so you guys can kind of see. I'm going to really quick in Gemini just create a bunch of fake data. Let's tell it to, and I'll zoom out. I am demoing something in a spreadsheet, and I need some fake data. Can you make, how about we'll say generate 6 columns worth of realistic data that might be teachers. We'll go with teacher because I know we're all teachers. Spreadsheet. Probably didn't need to give it that much information, but whatever. Okay, we're gonna copy this. Hopefully it's gonna copy correctly. We're gonna find out. Awesome. Okay, so and it may not be huge, like it may not be really obvious of how this could be like a game changer, but actually let's generate this bigger. I want more. Can you generate, let's say 150 rows of that fake data? Okay. Those of you joining us right now, I'm just generating fake data with AI so that I can just use it in this spreadsheet for showing you guys some of the cool tips. If it's ever gonna finish. Okay, I think it's finished. Oh my word, what is going on? It doesn't like, okay, we're just gonna manually copy this because it's, Chloe is a teacher's pet. What does that mean? I see, I got you. Okay. Oh, you're looking at the actual data. Gotcha. Okay. So there we go. We got plenty of fake data. So this is where it'd be extremely convenient to say I wanted to do something. I would have a very easy job if I came up here to click the select all button. It selects it all. Say I then want to like use this so I can change the font. So maybe I'm going to change this to Open Sans and we're going to do 12. Okay. And then real simple. There are some other tips that I'll be talking about that kind of dive deeper with that. So, okay, let's talk about freezing rows and columns. Okay, another must. If you do not know how to do this, generally speaking, if you are doing spreadsheets, you are going to want to freeze the first row, possibly first two rows, and most likely the first or second column. Extremely easy to do this. You can either from the toolbar, there is an option under, I think it's under like edit, it's under view. I don't generally bother with that. Instead, what I do is in that same area over by that button, if you kind of hover, it's kind of hard to demo this, but you will notice when I hover just over the one row, it become like the cursor becomes a hand, and that will allow you to pull it to however far you want to freeze. So say I grab it and I pull down 5, which is not very realistic in this situation. So instead I'm actually going to kind of hover over that again, and I'm going to freeze it where I actually wanted it, because I actually wanted it after row 1. So, and you can do the same thing with columns. So again, I'm going to hover by that button, and you can kind of see, for those of you who are able to visually see this, there is a thick gray line. That is the freeze line. So I'm going to take my cursor, and then for me, it makes sense to put this after B. So the whole point of freezing is so that when I'm looking further in the data, it keeps my header up there. Okay. And then, so the column one may not be as obvious yet, but that's more useful once you have lots of columns. And so I can continue to scroll, say like column M has something in it. It makes it really easy for me to tell, like, oh yeah, if I need to add something to Ellie in row M. Sorry, I should probably zoom back out. There we go. If I want to add something to row M, maybe I should have actually put something real here. So let's say we're putting age in M. With these two columns frozen, I can come over here and really easily add however many the different kids are without getting too confused. So that is our next one. Easy peasy. And you can continue to expand that. Like say you want to freeze more than that. I would not recommend freezing more than like 2 columns. The rows, that's not as big of a deal. Say I have, most often what I will do is I will have a heading, and then above that heading, I might have maybe a title or something for this. Like maybe this first row, I will put the name of the spreadsheet, even though it's kind of unnecessary. But yeah, so that is tip 3, freezing rows and columns. Let's talk about tip 4. This one is resizing rows and columns. Okay, basic concept. I'm not talking about like, oh yeah, I can really quickly, real easily just, extend the width. The tip that I'm talking about here today is how to do it wisely, or how to do something that possibly you did not realize you could do. For instance, in column B, so many of these are being cut off. So my tip today is that if you hover at the space in between the 2 columns and you double click, when you double click with a mouse, it will auto set the width to just past whatever the longest length in that column is. So say I want to do that, and that works with rows too. So none of these really have multi-lined content, but say they did. Let's just say for fun that we have this, which of course it auto expanded that time, but usually it would not do that. But yeah, if I needed to say this is too small, I can come here, click it, and it will auto resize to the exact size I need it. If I did that here, it brought it just a little wider because the percentage was off screen. So that is my fourth tip. Tip 5. Let's take a look at tip 5. Tip 5 is text alignment. Okay, so I think, especially with this last one, let's ask this to generate a column of data that we'll need to, we'll say that's lengthy. That is lengthy. Give me at least, let's say 15 to 30 words per row. Okay. Love it. Okay, I don't want the, here, wait, because for copying purposes, just give me the observation column. Purposes. Okay. Okay, beautiful. And actually, I don't care. Let's just stick with that much. So we'll say, oh, there we go. Teacher, I don't remember what that said. We'll say observations. Okay. So, okay, so this one we are going to expand and then we'll do wrapping. But text alignment. Oh, I know what I was going to do. So text alignment, generally speaking, everything will set to left alignment. But the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that by default, spreadsheets will always have the text aligned to the bottom of a cell. When some of these rows get lots of information in certain columns, there are times where it doesn't really make sense for that to be at the bottom. Like, I prefer for most of my data for the text to be vertically centered. So I am going to click that select all button, and then I'm going to click in the toolbar the vertical align option, and then there are 3 options. Right now it's at the bottom. I'm going to click middle. So if I zoom back to the normal size, you'll see that this row, which was previously, let me go back and forth so you can see that it was at the bottom, in the middle. So personal preference, but that's a great one to know. Okay, let's take a look at our next one. Tip 6. Do we have dates in here? We do not. Let's tell this, generate a column of dates. And another column with currency. So I'm going to ask for this. You guys will see why for this particular tip. Okay, beautiful. Let's go and copy this. Okay. Okay, so for this next tip, we've got my assessment date one and then a currency tab. I think I'm gonna have to get the cat out. We'll see. We'll give her a second. Okay, so for this tip, you'll want to highlight the entire column, and then actually let me get rid of this first row. Okay, so we're highlighting this column, and then one of the options in the main toolbar, you'll see, you know, the zoom, you got the currency, all this different stuff. I always click more formats, and at the bottom of this, the tip I want to recommend is if you have not checked out these last 3 options, they are worth your time. I especially really like the custom date and time. So if you notice how when I copied these dates over from AI, it copied in a format that I can't stand. Instead of me manually going and changing those, I can instead highlight the top of that column. So I highlight H, and again, don't bother trying to drag and do the whole column yourself. Just if you click in the like H margin, it will highlight all of it. So from the toolbar, I am going to select the More Formats button. It is listed as 1, 2, 3. And then in there, I am going to go down to Custom Date and Time. So this menu, remember it listed it in this format. It listed it as the full year. And then I think the day and month. This will have like some standard ones. Plus all of this, like this is actually it's a search, not a search, but a field. So I could actually delete these and then replace them with what I want. So say I want it to I want it to list the month first. And then in month, I can choose some different customization that I want for that. So say I want to always have a leading 0. If it's, say that the, is this birth date? I don't remember what we were doing or not. Say I want it to always have like a abbreviation of the name of the month. Let's for now go with a leading 0. Then let's go with day. And for day, we're going to do a leading 0. Here, one sec. This cat is about to cause a fight. So I'm going to let her out real quick. Okay. Crisis averted. Okay, so then we've got the date. We have leading 0s, and then we're going to add year. And then for year, maybe I want to, for now, I'll do the full year. So apply, and then notice it looks like a mess because actually before I deleted, there were other things in there. So we're gonna go back into that same menu, custom date and time. It has what we last had. We just need to add those characters. So maybe I want a period in between all of that. Maybe I hate that and I want to go back in there and instead I want a slash. That's probably the more realistic one that you want. There you go. So we've got the formats all completely done. I can come back in there and continue to change it. Say I want to just do one of these pre-built ones. So say I want to do August 5th. Is that format, and then it just won't put the year. So that is if you were to do it with the number ones, but you can also do it with currency. So I'm going to do the same tip with currency. So I am highlighting the I, and I'm going back up here to that more formats. This time I'm going to do custom currency. And then I haven't actually messed with this currency much, but you can do other countries, or you can again do similar things to what we were just doing. I think I should be able to delete. I haven't done this one as much. Let's just do, oh yeah, dollar. Gotcha. So, gotcha. So for this, at least for this major menu, you probably don't need this particular one. What you instead would want is, say you have a column. Here, let's do this real quick. Give me the currency column without dollar signs. That's what I wanted to show you guys. Without dollar signs. Oh, okay. Let's hope. Oh, it's literally doing all the same. Okay, sure. I was thinking that it had more than... Oh, and then now this is not a currency, of course. We'll go back to plain text. Okay. Let's just delete. Okay. Let's hope this is going to work. We're going to find out. Nope, it did not work. No! Okay, that's fine. We'll just do this quick. Okay. Sure. Okay, so I've got all this stuff, and I'll just say cost. So this time I'm going to come here, and then you can either go to this same menu and choose the format that you want. Like if you want to have a $sign on it, if you want to have 2 decimals, you can actually get rid of that option and stuff like that. Say I want to have just the $sign, you can also just click this. It will automatically throw that in there. Say I don't want the .00, that is where you could actually come in here and get rid of the 00. Yes, there we go. That's how you do it. So yeah, that is our 6th tip. Yes, our 6th tip. So check out just in general, check out this formatting option. I think it's just called more formats. Okie dokie. Let's take a look at tip number 7. Okay, tip number 7, alternating colors. Okay, so I'm bringing this one up because I thought this was a little more known, but I see a lot of people don't realize it. I see a lot of people who will manually change alternating colors. Doing something like this, or if you at least know the tip to like do something like that. Not necessary. Not necessary at all. So I'm going to unselect those, and instead in Google Sheets I am going to look for an option that says alternating colors. So with everything selected, I want to say it's in format, and then alternating colors. That will automatically do this. It will also automatically continue to do this as you add more rows, which if you're doing that manually, you're going to lose some of that. But then you can come in here and you can change what color you want the header. The biggest thing I hate about the current features available in here is that you can't change the text within this menu. So say I want to actually make this black. There's no way for me to make the text white unless I come to row 1 and change it to white. A little frustrating, but it's still a lot easier than what I know a lot of people do manually. So that's real simple. Alternating colors. I can again come back in here and change that very easily to something else. They have some pre-built ones, and the pre-built ones at least do have it changes the color as needed, I believe. I'm not actually sure. Hold on, let's go back and see. Hold on. Okay, let's see whether those pre-built colors. Oh, never mind. The pre-built colors do not change the text color. So yeah, you'll still need to change the text color if you want it changed. So like in this example, or really any of these. Let's say this one. I would want to change this to white. Okay. Alrighty. So alternating colors. Tip 8, convert to table. This one I hope most people know because it has started advertising itself. So again, you want to click the select all button, and if it doesn't prompt you to convert to table, then I believe that is in format, convert to table. I'm not really going to talk too much about this because I think a lot of people have used this. However, it is worth noting that you should check out what is available for this table. There are formatting options. So first off, you might want to give it a name, but then you'll click on the drop down. Let me maybe zoom in for you. So the drop down, and then I'm going to click table formatting. I honestly toggle all of this on. So show table grid lines. You might not be able to see the difference there right now. Okay, right now there's no grid lines, and then if I do, now there's grid lines. Okay, and then condensed view is nice. It just cleans up everything. What else is in here? Show table footer is nice. Table footer is nice because if there is any money involved or stuff like that, it will auto calculate that for you. If you know how to use some formulas, you could also add some formulas. Say you wanted to get like the average attendance in this row. I'm not going to teach you guys how to do, formulas today, but like, so I could do average, this would be C2 through C, or it's not going to cooperate. Why is that not working? Oh, because this last row. Let's do, actually, I think we can actually do whatever the heck the name of this, oh yeah, there we go, attendance. There we go. Average attendance rate is 89%. So that is and obviously you don't have to actually do 1,000 rows. I could have just done, if I actually remove, let me see if I can remove, yeah, let's do this, okay. Say I actually only want to do the table formatting for the current data that I have, then I can just highlight that, come to convert to table, and then if I add that table footer, then the table footer will be just down at the bottom of what my current stuff is, and then I can still put in the formulas, plus it's still going to auto calculate. Let's move this over. Oh wait, no, I do have real data. So that is, for the most part, what you can do with the tables. There's more features that you can do. You can also, this is really great, that you should learn how to filter, which I will be talking about filtering on my next, in our next GEG meeting in February, because that is a little more complicated and a lot more stuff to mess around with on that front. But let's move on to our next tip, email notifications. Okay, this one is extremely helpful if you have a spreadsheet that more than you collaborate on, and possibly you're worried that someone will mess things up or they are changing things and not telling you. The big one that I use this for is when there is like possibly a schedule, a calendar that is shared with people, and then oftentimes people will forget to tell everybody like, hey, I updated this meeting to this date. So on all spreadsheets, you can go to Tools, and then there's an option that says Notification Settings, and then you can do Edit Notifications. One thing I will say about this is that you can only set this up and edit the options for you, and then you can choose how often you want to receive an email. For those of you that have like a Google form connected, I know that there are a lot of people that will enable the option in Google Forms to receive an email notification. I prefer getting the email notification for the spreadsheet because I generally am reading form responses on the spreadsheet. That is just how I prefer to do it. And the email notification for the spreadsheet is a little easier to read than the other one. So you could also set this up so that you get an email notification every time someone changes something. And then you could either tell it to do a daily digest, so that'll do it at the end of the day. Probably, I don't know what time it sends it at. I think at like just before midnight. Or if it's a spreadsheet that's not getting updated that frequently, but you still want a notification, you could set it to give you an email right away. So there are certain spreadsheets that I have lots of data on and lots of people entering stuff in. So I will often set those spreadsheets to email daily digest because it gives me a nice little email at the end of the day saying like, here are the major rows that were updated. And then if I open the link that is in the email, it shows you exactly which rows were updated, and it'll tell you who updated them as well. So that is really good. I do not actually want to set that up. And as I mentioned, you can only set it up for yourself. you'll possibly notice in that same menu, there was comment notifications. There are some settings that you can set that you get emails about. By default, it is set to get every single comment sent to you if it is your spreadsheet that you own. You can change that if you don't want that notification. But that is actually, since I mentioned it, we might as well start talking about my last tip today, which is comments and notes. Comments are just widely not used by people, and I think they are an extremely useful thing. A lot of times people will manually add a comment in a spreadsheet, like in a row, where it's not frequently useful. Instead, I would either put a comment to, like, if I want to send that to somebody so that they will see exactly what I wrote. And so let's just example, I click on, say I want to put a comment on this kid's name. And so I would right click comment, and then I could do whatever it is. Can you check this student's age or something? I think it's wrong. And then the nice thing is that if you actually specifically want this comment to be sent to someone in an email, then you can do the @ sign and put whatever their email is. So say I'm going to do this to I'll do it to my test account. If I can type. And then it will ask me, do I want to assign this comment to that email? Yes. Okay, so that means that they are the only people that can reply to it. So I could do assign, and then that will also give this person access. I could just give them access as a commenter or anything like that. So I will do that. And so then if I hover over any cell that has a comment on it, it will immediately tell me what that comment is. And then the other option that is more useful if it's like a note to self, I would right click and there's an option to insert note. Insert note, say I want to say this student's name has, like maybe this kid used to be had a different last name. The student's last name, sorry, I was going to zoom in for you guys a little bit. Student's last name was updated from, let's just say, Trenton to Lewis in May of 2025. And then I don't have to, like, it's not going to send an email notification to anybody. That's just anytime somebody gets to that column, it will show that note. And the person that sees it can either add to the note or whatever. I use that most often when we have spreadsheets that have lots of columns and say that the header needs more explanation, because generally for headers, I like to keep them short and sweet. They should not be like a 50-word header, which is very common for when people set up forms. Don't do that. So anyway, like say we want to insert a note here. We'll say include dates and times of these observations. If I can spell observations. Come on. Quit being. Dang it. Come on. In observations. Beautiful. Okay. So again, if someone gets to that column, it will display that note. So comments and notes, both are worth checking out. Both are worth using. Okay. So now that we are at the end here, I am going to check and see whether anybody included any comments. I don't think there were any comments with people sharing other tips and examples that they want me to share. Which then that means I'm going to move on to our bonus, which if this is the first time you have joined us at GEG Iowa, I always try to end with some kind of enrichment game, some kind of website app that I have learned about recently that is either just as an educator, you want a little bit of, mental break, or you got like 5 minutes in between classes or after school, you're just sitting in the car because you're not ready to deal with life. So my bonus ones are always they're worth checking out, or they're also education friendly. So if you have time during school and you got 5 minutes to kill, that's what these bonus are. So on our agenda, there is my bonus, which today it is the U.S. State Minefield. It's a very simple game. One thing I will warn people about, if you guys go to this website is ad heavy. If you are noticing on my page, it does not have as many ads as probably yours will if you go there. That is because I use a lot of privacy-based tools, which don't have time to talk about that. I do have a previous session that I recommended my favorite privacy tools. That was in November of 2024. I included the link to that recording. But essentially, I use a browser that will cut out a lot of ads. I also use ad blockers that cut out a lot of ads. Highly recommend. Way safer for especially displaying in school, because I will warn that when I did try this website on in just Chrome without my without my privacy extensions and stuff, it had some very inappropriate ads. So I would not recommend using this in the classroom until you have tested it and make sure that you are using something that will cut out lots of the ads. Anywho, let's play this game. So what this is, they're full screen. It's very simple. It made me very quickly realize that I do not know the exact location of most of our states, especially the Northeast. I stink at it. So essentially, once you press play, it's going to tell you to click whichever state, and if you were off by just a tiny bit, you have to start over. Okay, so we are looking for Louisiana. That one should be pretty easy because it's right around here. This is Texas. Like all of that's Texas. And then it's like right here. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so I got Louisiana. Now we're trying to do Wyoming. This is where I'm going to immediately get this wrong. Wyoming. It's like we've got, I think like Idaho's up at the top. This is probably like Utah. We're gonna go here. I am shocked I got that one. Okay, Michigan, that one is easy enough. The glove, okay, there's Michigan. Florida is an easy one. Okay, Indiana should be pretty easy. That should be right. Or that could also be Ohio, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, New Jersey. Ooh, I should be able to do New Jersey, but I'm horrible. I think New Jersey is like, isn't this like Rhode Island? New Jersey. We're going with here. I got it wrong. I was close. So I got 5 out of 50 correct. That's all this game is. It's pretty simple. There are some other ones on this same website. I haven't actually used them. I'm curious. Let's try clickable countries by continent. I will definitely be even worse by this. Oh, okay. I thought I was going to have to identify them. So Peru. Oh yeah, that's a pretty easy enough one. And there's way too many of these. The Philippines is in Asia. Sudan is in Africa. Yeah, that one's not as fun. I'm sure. What is this one? Per letter. Oh my lord. So I wonder if I have to type it. So like, where do I? Oh, okay. So Alabama. We'll go with California. Texas, Georgia, Hawaii. Let's go with Iowa. Represent. Might as well go with Wyoming. Oh, I'm not sure whether that finished. Oh, did I already do? Hold on. Oh, shoot. What just happened? It just switched screens. No. Okay, there we go. Kentucky. Hopefully, I wonder if I don't have to. Maine, Nebraska. So yeah, it's worth checking out. But like I said, definitely do not want to use this without some kind of privacy app installed. Curious to see what this U.S. president one is. Oh my. Oh my. This is just literally listing out U.S. presidents. So like if we say, I don't know what Ford's first name was. All I can think of is General Ford. George Washington. Okay, what's Adams Jackson? Adam Jackson? Adam Jackson. Or is it Jackson Adams? Real good. We got George W. Bush. And then George. What's George Sr.? Did he just go by George? Oh, okay. I'm still too zoomed in. Hold on, we're gonna zoom out. See, this is where it's real stupid because it does not want to zoom out. What is going on? Such a stupid. There we go. Okay. Oh, and it's kind of nice that it's got died in office. Yeah, resigned. Digits of pi. Lordy. So yeah, it looks like there's lots of different games possible. Halloween murder mystery. Can you name the murder victims and those still alive in this holiday murder party? Interesting. I'm curious. Let's see. What do we got here? So how do we play this? How do we play? Does it have instructions? Okay. Type in answer that appears in a list. Alive means alive and innocent. What? This makes no sense. What? I don't really know how this game works. Ruling one out leaves two possibilities. Huh. Anywho, that's worth checking out. It's on Sporkle. Again, horrible ads, but fun games. So that is everything I've got for you guys tonight. We have just information on when we'll be meeting next. So we try to meet the third Wednesday of every month at 7 o'clock. And so the next 2 months we're meeting on February 18th and March 18th. Next time I will be diving in deeper to more complex Google Sheets things. So I currently have these things on the agenda planned. I'll be talking about filters, data validation, and conditional formatting. If you are new to those concepts or would love just some general tips on how to filter better, use data validation, stuff like that, I will be talking about that in February. And then in March, we'll probably be moving on from Google Sheets to some other topic. But I thank you guys all for being here tonight. We had a pretty big showing today, so I will talk to you guys in February, and have a great one.